The Constitution of India. Preamble. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution.
Hello, 5th standard children. How are all of you? Hope you all are fine and hope you all have enjoyed your Onam also. Nicely in your own style. You all have payasam? Okay. Let the sweetness of this festival remain with all of us throughout this year. Myself and Bindu teacher, both of us wish you all a very, very happy Onam. We know you all are very sweet children, just like the sweet payasam. Let the sweetness of that payasam also be there with you, okay? Till next year. Okay children, what I meant by this is, let the sweetness remain with you. Let the innocence remain with you like this throughout your life, okay? So last class, do you remember what I taught you? Yes, it was about solute, solvent and solution. Solute plus solvent is equal to solution. If I add salt to water, we get salt solution. If I add blue colored copper sulfate crystals to water, we get copper sulfate solution. Clear? So after this there is an experiment actually which states one another important property of water, but that I'll teach you later. For the sake of continuity, that is, I taught you about objects that are soluble in water and insoluble in water. Similarly, there are objects that are, they just float on water, and some objects they sink in water. What is this float and sink? Have you heard these words before? In your book, there is a table with two columns. First one is objects that float on water, and the second column objects that sink in water. And before that, there is a girl. In your book, there is a figure of a girl called Mubashira who is experimenting by putting a block of wood into water. ആ കുട്ടി ഒരു മരത്തിൻ്റെ കഷ്ണം വെള്ളത്തിലിട്ട് നോക്കുകയാണ്. So what will be her observation? What do you think will happen? Will that wood piece sink in water or will it float on water? So float on water means വെള്ളത്തിൽ ഇങ്ങനെ പാറി നിൽക്കുക, താഴോട്ട് പോവില്ല. Sink പറഞ്ഞാൽ വെള്ളത്തിനുള്ളിലേക്ക് മുങ്ങും. So when she puts that block of wood, it will not sink. Wood will always float on water. വെള്ളത്തിൻ്റെ ടോപ്പിൽ ഇങ്ങനെ നിൽക്കും. Understood? You can write at home. If you put a small wooden piece, it will always float on water. So float means പാറി നിൽക്കുക. Sink means ഉള്ളിലേക്ക് പോകും. Okay, for example, if you take a stone and throw it into water, what will happen? Will it stay at the top? No, it will sink. താഴേക്ക് പോവുക. So in these two columns, you have to write your own examples actually. But here I will help you. Okay. So the first column, objects that float on water. First you can write wood. Second, rubber ball. It will float on water. Third, plastic ball or a plastic bottle. Okay, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു plastic lid. Then one more option is there. One more object, that is sponge. Okay, that will always float on water. Now what about objects that sink in water? First one I told you, stone, it will sink. Can you guess? Do you know any other objects that sink in water? വെള്ളത്തിൽ താഴോട്ട് പോകുന്നത്. Yes, coin. It will sink in water. Then steel spoon, that will also sink in water. What about marble? Marble piece, that will also sink in water. So now you understood what is the meaning of float. Float means മോളിലിങ്ങനെ നിൽക്കും, വെള്ളത്തിൻ്റെ ഉള്ളിലേക്ക് പോവില്ല. Okay, sink means വെള്ളത്തിലിട്ടാൽ അത് തന്നെ താഴോട്ട് പോകും, നമ്മളൊന്നും ചെയ്യണ്ട. Okay, it will go down on its own, it will sink. So this table you have to write in your file. Understood? Now in the textbook after this they have given us two instances where this property is used. Instances means examples in our daily life where we use this property of floating. The first one is learning to swim holding a plantain stem. Learning to swim holding a plantain stem means what? Plantain means വാഴയുടെ ആ stem വെച്ചിട്ട് നീന്താൻ പഠിക്കുക. So that plantain stem will never sink. So you can learn to swim. That is one best example where this floating property is used. Okay. Then the second example they have given is carrying articles on a raft. Raft varna you might have seen in movies, a rectangular shaped made up of logs of wood tied together. You might have seen in movies where they carry articles over it. It will not sink. Okay, so carrying articles on a raft, that is the second example. So understood the meaning of the word float and sink. Float means മോളിലിങ്ങനെ പാരനിൽക്കും. Sink means വെള്ളത്തിൻ്റെ ഉള്ളിലേക്ക് തനിയെ മുങ്ങിപ്പോവുക. Okay. Now the next page is the next topic, how to measure the liquids. Examples of liquids I have taught you, right? Water, milk, kerosene. How can we measure these liquids? What is the unit for measuring these liquids? How can we express this liquids in terms of a particular unit? Do you remember? You might have studied in the previous class. Now suppose you go to a ration shop and you ask for kerosene, they measure it and give you. How? Okay, if you see a milkman, if you want milk, you will go and ask him for milk. How do you express it? Yes, in the form of liter. If you ask for half liter, he will take the half liter measuring vessel and he will give you the milk. If you ask for 1 liter, he will take the 1 liter measuring vessel and he will give you the required milk. Have you seen those cans, half liter and 1 liter? All these are used to measure liquids. Similarly, water is also measured in the form of liters. 1 liter water, 2 liter water, 3 liter water. So liter is the unit for measuring liquids. Don't forget this. 1 liter is equal to how many ml? 1000 ml. Don't forget that. So this is there in your textbook. Liter is the unit for measuring liquids. 1 liter is equal to 1000 ml. Is it okay? Now I move on to the next point that is given in your textbook, that is the earth is abundant in water but still. What is the meaning of the word abundant? Abundant means plenty. There is lot of water on this earth, but why that but? I'll teach you. Now this globe is majority of the portion in this globe is in blue in color, isn't it? This blue color stands for the water bodies. That means our earth has lot of water. There is plenty of water on this earth. Can you see the blue color in this figure? There is lot of blue color. That means water is in plenty on earth. Now, you might have studied in geography about many oceans, right? Indian Ocean, Arctic Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, Pacific Ocean. So, the earth is full of many oceans, seas, rivers, ponds, lakes, right? Okay. Now, in this figure, there are 3 squares. In this rectangle, there are 3 squares. Out of that, 2 squares are blue in color. Can you see? That is, out of 3, 2 squares. 2 by 3, that is 2/3, is made up of water. If this stands for earth, 2/3 is made up of water and 1/3 is made up of land. Can you see? അപ്പോൾ ഏതാണ് കൂടുതൽ ഭൂമിയിൽ? വാട്ടർ. 3-ലെ 2 ഭാഗം വെള്ളമാണ്, 1 ഭാഗം മാത്രമേ ലാൻഡ് ഉള്ളൂ. Okay? Now, you all know about sea water. It contains lot of salt. The amount of salt in sea water is very high. Can we use that sea water for our common purposes, daily routine? Can we use sea water for drinking, cleaning, cooking, washing, etc.? No. Though there is lot of sea water here, we can't use it. We can only use the pure water that is there on the earth for our daily purposes. Now, just look at this figure. 96.5% is sea water, only 3.5% is pure water. This is not about India, remember children, this is about the whole world. In the whole world, there is only 3.5% pure water. And what are the sources of this pure water? Pure water evidna kitta. Source means evidna kittunnu. For example, if I tell you carbon dioxide that the plants take in for photosynthesis, what is the source? Source of carbon dioxide for plants? It is the atmosphere. എവിടുന്ന് കിട്ടണം അവർക്ക് ആ കാർബൺ ഡയോക്സൈഡ്? അറ്റ്മോസ്ഫിയറിൽ നിന്ന്. അപ്പോൾ അതാണ് അവരുടെ സോഴ്സ്. സോഴ്സ് പറഞ്ഞാൽ എവിടുന്ന് കിട്ടണം. ഓക്കെ. സോ പ്യുവർ വാട്ടറിന്റെ സോഴ്സസ് ഏതൊക്കെയാണ്? എവിടുന്നാണ് നമുക്ക് പ്യുവർ വാട്ടർ കിട്ടുക ഈ ഭൂമിയിൽ? Ponds, rivers, lakes, wells. Okay, we get pure water from the sources such as wells, lakes, ponds, rivers. But all these together constitute only 3.5% on this earth. Our 3.5% pure water nani whole world used for their daily purposes. Just imagine. So this 3.5% that is there for us, for our use, isn't it our duty to take care of that water without getting polluted? So our next topic is water gets polluted. Polluted varna malinikaranam. It becomes dirty. How does this water get polluted? So before I go to this topic, hope you have understood the first point, that is float and sink. That table you have to write in the file. Then I told you, out of 3, 2/3 is water and 1/3 is land. 96.5% is sea water, 3.5% only pure water. That pure water has to be taken care of without getting polluted. We should not make the water polluted. In the textbook, they have given 5 causes by which water gets polluted. You might have seen, ഈ വെള്ളത്തിൽ പോയിട്ട് കാറ്റിലിനെയൊക്കെ കുളിപ്പിക്കും ആൾക്കാർ. അപ്പോൾ വാട്ടർ പൊല്യൂട്ടഡ് ആവുമല്ലേ? ഡൊമസ്റ്റിക് വേസ്റ്റ് വെള്ളത്തിൽ കൊണ്ടുപോയി ഡംപ് ചെയ്യും. വാട്ടർ ഗെറ്റ്സ് പൊല്യൂട്ടഡ്. ഹോസ്പിറ്റൽ വേസ്റ്റ്, ഫാക്ടറി വേസ്റ്റ്, പല വേസ്റ്റ് വെള്ളം കണ്ടാൽ കൊണ്ടുപോയി ഡംപ് ചെയ്താൽ that water gets polluted. So the 5 causes that are given in the textbook, you have to study very well. These 5 points I will read out for you one by one. Okay, the first point is washing vehicles and bathing cattle in the river. Again I'll repeat, washing vehicles and bathing cattle in the river. Second, throwing plastic wastes into water sources. Third, dumping waste materials from fish and meat markets. Fourth, dumping waste from factories. Fifth, spraying pesticides in agricultural field. What is pesticide? പെസ്റ്റിനെയൊക്കെ കൊല്ലാനുള്ള മരുന്നടിക്കില്ലേ, സ്പ്രേ ചെയ്യില്ലേ, അതടിക്കുമ്പോൾ എന്താവും, മഴവെള്ളം താഴോട്ട് വരുമ്പോൾ അതിങ്ങനെ കൂടെ താഴോട്ട് വന്നിട്ട് water gets polluted in the wells that are there nearby. If there are any ponds nearby, then it gets polluted. Understood? Okay, so these 5 points you have to study very well. So polluted in artham, the water gets dirty. And who are making the water polluted? We human beings. Is it right? No. We should preserve the water that is there. Okay? Now the next topic is, how is rain formed? How is rain formed? Now suppose you take some water in a vessel and you switch on the gas and you boil it. What happens? You can see the water after some time changing into water vapor. When you put off the gas, അതിനൊരു പാത്രത്തിൽ ഒരു lid കൊണ്ട് അടച്ചു വെച്ചാൽ, after some time when you just lift the lid, what can you see? You can see the water drops falling down. താഴെ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്ന വെള്ളം എങ്ങനെയാ മുകളിൽ അടച്ചു വെച്ച് പ്ലേറ്റിൽ വന്നത്? Yes. Same manner, rain is also formed from the water that goes from the earth upwards. How? Now, the water that is present in the water bodies, they receive the heat from the sun. They start, because of the heat of the sun, they start boiling. When water receives the heat, the water changes to water vapor, it goes up. When it reaches up, it forms clouds. Okay? So, സൂര്യൻ്റെ ചൂട് കാരണം ഭൂമിയിലുള്ള വെള്ളം ആ ചൂടിനെ എടുത്തിട്ട് വാട്ടർ ചൂട് തട്ടിയാൽ വാട്ടർ വേപ്പർ ആയിട്ട് മുകളിലേക്ക് പോവും. പോയി കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് ക്ലൗഡ്സ് ആവും. ഓക്കെ? Now once the clouds are formed, ഇപ്പോൾ ക്ലൗഡ്സിനുള്ളിൽ എന്താ ഉള്ളത്? വാട്ടർ വേപ്പർ. When the water vapor starts accumulating, ഇങ്ങനെ കൂടി കൂടി വരുമ്പോൾ, because of precipitation, the clouds, they become very heavy and then they burst out. And what falls down? Rain. Understood? So once again I'll tell you, because of the heat of the sun, the water in the water bodies turn into water vapor, they go up, they form clouds, the clouds get cooled. Once the clouds get cooled, they fall down on the earth as rain. Is it clear? Okay. അപ്പോൾ ക്ലൗഡ്സ് ഉണ്ടാവാൻ ഭൂമിയിലെ വെള്ളം മുകളിൽ ആവിയായിട്ട് പോയേ പറ്റും. ക്ലൗഡ്സ് ഉണ്ടായിട്ട് അവിടെ അങ്ങനെ നിൽക്കില്ല. തണുത്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ അതങ്ങനെ താഴത്ത് വെള്ളമായിട്ട് വരണം. ആ വെള്ളത്തിനാണ് നമ്മൾ റെയിൻ എന്ന് പറയുക. Understood? Now just look at this figure. Just see how the cloud is laughing at that boy and saying something. What is the cloud saying? The water you drink today is the water with which you once had your bath. എന്നിട്ട് ചുരുക്കിയാണ്, നീ ഇന്ന് കുടിക്കണ വെള്ളം ഉണ്ടല്ലോ, ആ വെള്ളം വെച്ചിട്ടാണ് നീ ഒരിക്കൽ പണ്ട് കുളിച്ചത്. What does that mean? The water that was there on the earth, it has gone up, formed clouds, and after cooling, it has again come back. So this is the water cycle. Okay? മുകളിലേക്ക് പോവുക, വാട്ടർ വേപ്പർ, ക്ലൗഡ്സ് ആവുക, തിരിച്ച് താഴോട്ട് വരിക. ദിസ് ഇസ് വാട്ടർ സൈക്കിൾ. Understood? You just have to understand. Don't write this. Now the next topic is evaporation and condensation. This is very, very important. You have to write it in the file. I'll read it out for you. Evaporation is the process by which liquids change to vapor due to heat. On cooling, vapor changes to liquid and this is called condensation. Water changing into water vapor is an example of evaporation, and water vapor changing into water is an example of condensation. Write this in the Fine. Now I tell you what is evaporation. It is a process by which liquids change into vapor. Liquids gas by heating, due to heat. And this process is called evaporation. What is evaporation? Liquid changing to gas or else vapor because of heat. Okay, for example, water, when it changes to water vapor by absorbing heat, that process is called evaporation. Understood? Now this water vapor, when it again changes to water due to cooling, that is called as condensation. So a gas അല്ലെങ്കിൽ vapor turning back into liquid because of cooling is called condensation. Hope you have understood this. Water ചൂട് തട്ടിയിട്ട് water vapor ആയിട്ട് മാറുമ്പോൾ that process is called evaporation. തിരിച്ച് റിവേഴ്സ് ഗിയറിൽ വണ്ടിയിൽ അതുപോലെ വാട്ടർ വേപ്പർ തിരിച്ച് വാട്ടർ ആവുകയാണ് എങ്ങനെ? ബൈ കൂളിംഗ്. That is called as condensation. This you have to write in the file. Now the next topic is water conservation methods. That is how to conserve water. ഈ മഴവെള്ളത്തിനൊക്കെ നമ്മൾ സ്റ്റോർ ചെയ്ത് വെക്കണ്ടേ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ വെള്ളത്തിന്റെ ഷോർട്ടേജ് വരും. So how you can conserve this water, save or store this water? There are 7 methods given. I'll teach you in the next class. Okay, so write all the important points in the file. Question answers I'll give you once this lesson is over. Understood, children? I hope you will obey us, complete the files, write the notes, and if you have any doubts you can call us. So I'll be winding up the session here. Rest in the next class. Till then, it is bye bye from Himlata teacher.